Oh, yay, Steam Summer Sale. More to add to my backlog. Hello, and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 132. It is the first day of the week, aka the Vulcan Raven workout. Completely forgot what it was called for a second there. I am on my way to the gym right now. It's about the same time that I went last time. Hopefully it's not as packed as it was last Monday. It was raining about maybe like 5 minutes ago. So who knows? That might have deterred a few people, but realistically, it never really deters that many people that go to the gym, honestly. The weather, unless it's snow, but even snow will kind of make people, specifically gym rats, go to the gym, you know? So it is what it is. To the main subject matter at hand, backlogs. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, one, I thought of the fact that I have a backlog of videos that I need to edit. To give you an example from this point, I don't know when this is going to be released, but I have 5 videos I have to edit before this one. This would be number 6. So, yeah, I have a lot to do, and I have to figure out times to when to do it. I know how I can do it, but I'm going to have to get something in order for that to work. But that's a whole other story for a whole other day. But I wanted to talk about backlogs right now because it just made me think of, just generally speaking, having a backlog of shit to do, either in terms of like backlog in terms of entertainment or to-do list or anything in between, kind of things like that. And I kind of wanted to talk about it because it can go in a bunch of directions. But right now in this section, I'll just focus about a couple of things. So for example, a backlog thing that I know I'm gonna have to do is I have to clean my living room area because it is starting to get cluttered. And I'm like, oh shit. But like, I can't even ask like my wife to do it because it's like 90% shit that I'm just like leaving around. So that's something that I'm like, oh shit, I have to take care of this. But it isn't something I can just leave in the back burner to just like accumulate. So it's like I have to make a mental note or like a something on my to-do list on like Saturday to be like, hey, fucking clean this or else it's gonna get bad, you know? So I have to get that done eventually, and probably after this video, after I'm done making this part right here, I'll probably make a note about it. But that is something where it is low priority, and I'm not gonna go into high priority, low priority, all that other stuff. Maybe I will in the voiceover, but right now I just wanted to talk about it because I'm like, geez, there's literally a backlog for almost everything and anything that you do in a way, except for even at work. Really, it's something that you get a backlog at, and then you just kind of hope that you finish whatever you need to get done in the day, and then you don't have to worry about anything else. I was thinking about that at work, and then I was just kind of like sitting there being like, huh, yeah, just waiting for the clock to hit 5 and then heading out. There is that. It's interesting to even think or see when it happens. There are certain medias where you'll forget the backlog is fucking there and just continue to add more and more, which we'll talk more about later. For now, I just wanted to discuss, to give you a little bit of behind the scenes stuff of what's going on when it comes to editing and stuff like that, because it is quite literally, I just need to find time, because I haven't found time yet, but when I do find time, I'll be able to knock these out, and then all of a sudden, episodes were going to be coming out the whoo-ha and the whee-wham non-stop. But until I can find that time, I can't do anything about it. It's just going to keep growing and growing. And there is a little bit of me that has that, like, I wouldn't say this happens to all medias, but I think for this personally, there is a certain point where it's going to grow to possibly be too much of a backlog. I know that happens to certain people when they get, it's the Netflix syndrome, which I'll talk about in the voiceover. With that being said, I will see you on the inside. Alright, so on this day started with dips, which were pretty nice. I remember they were pretty good, but anyways, the gym was pretty packed as always on Monday because that's how it is nowadays. Just having to deal with the Monday packedness, but it is what it is. So my backlog for recording videos has become slightly huge. And when I mean huge, I'm doing this recording on a Sunday because this is the only real time I have to do any type of like voiceover or anything like that. To put it in perspective, this chapter is chapter 132. I am currently sitting on approximately 13 chapters that I have yet to edit. Actually, 12 chapters. Apologize, that was actually incorrect. It's 12 chapters that I have that are in edited. The other one is in the middle of being edited. So I have to kind of go through these one by one slowly. Now, the thing about it is that because I have figured out now how to edit them and the times that I'll be able to edit them, I'm going to have to sneakily get them edited through. But right now, there is a massive backlog, like to the point where I did not think it was this much. It is like 2 weeks plus worth of backlog. It kind of sucks, but it's also kind of nice because that means that I will never be able to stop working, but I'm also kind of happy about it, weirdly. I kind of like that there's a backlog. There was a certain point at a time where I wouldn't have a backlog of edits, and I was just kind of sitting there waiting to record more and then do it. Now, I'm in the complete opposite direction, where I have so many that I'll probably take advantage of any day off that I have and just edit like crazy on those days. So there is that. So a lot of them in the back burner, to say the least. So there is that. But to go out a little bit from just like editing videos to other backlogs, I have started definitely looking at the backlogs of things like shows and maybe even YouTube videos and movies and all those things, and try to go through some of those things now because I can / have the time for it. At work, I can actually listen to YouTube videos and stuff like that, which is actually very convenient for that. But also I might end up starting to watch some shows or just like listen to shows in the background because I have the ability to, which is kind of nice. When it comes to things like shows and movies and stuff like that, it's interesting when you think about all of the backlogs that people have, even myself included. There's always a point where, like, let's say we finish a show, there's always a point where you just sit there and think about, what can I watch next? What is going to be the next thing? Even though 90% of people have like a vlog of the things that they want to watch because of like the My List on Netflix or whatever streaming service you end up using, or whatever the hell you have, you end up having those things, and then you end up not choosing any of those things but going with something completely different. I briefly mentioned it in the car, and I wanted to talk about it here, which is the Netflix syndrome, which I might make a whole video about. But Netflix syndrome, if you haven't heard of it, it's probably called something else, really. But the term I coined it was because in Netflix you had too many options to watch. And I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes too many options will make people paralyzed with the idea of what to do next, because then you're worried about the time that you spent watching whatever you watched and hoping that it's good, rather than watching it and being disappointed, it not being good, and then you have to deal with the consequences of that therefore after, so then the time feels like it's wasted. But people get paralyzed by the choice of so many choices that they end up not doing anything, so they end up wasting their time getting nothing in return. And that's a whole other series of issues that come up with that. It's paralysis by analysis, but in a different way, almost paralysis by choice. But I think we'll talk about that in a different episode, actually. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in, thankfully. I am on the way back home right now. I am feeling in pain, actually. My fucking left ankle is on fire. I couldn't sit down. It fucking hurt my fucking ankle / entire leg to sit. It was weird. I think I'm dehydrated, so I gotta get more water in me, 150%. But that is something for about 5-minute Oscar to deal with. But anyways, that is just a backlog of things that I need to do. But that is what it is. Speaking of that, backlogs, I like to talk about it because there are so many backlogs that happen throughout different things, particularly video games, which I've probably already talked about a little bit, is like the big one. The one that happens all the time for me personally, but other people as well. So that's the one that I'm like, damn, this is the one that gets people the most, particularly where they can just forget that they have video games or certain things at all. And it's just interesting to see and talk about, because it is something, it's slightly a phenomena that happens to everybody, and we kind of just let it accumulate until it gets to the point where we either never do it or we get through it, which is the crazy part. Which is a crazy part, just because there are some people who will sit there and be like, all right, time to do this all. I wish streaming services were not as shit as they are today, where they'll get rid of shit all the time, so your list is never consistent, which is unfortunate unless it's like their own programming and stuff, which is annoying. But still, it is what it is on that front. But with that being said, though, it is interesting to think about all the things that you kind of put off and you ask yourself why. I think that's the main reason why I also wanted to do this. Why am I putting these things off? For particular, like, why am I putting off like my video game backlog or something like that? And it's interesting, like, there are mostly time. That's really it. I'm allocating time to some other stuff instead. So that is the main thing, but it's not the only thing. You know, there are things where interests wane and all this other stuff, but it is what it is. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions, and maybe tell me about your biggest backlog of things that you have, whether it be music, TV, video games, things to do, people to see, things to draw. Who knows what it is? It could be anything, honestly. But please tell me your thoughts and opinions about this. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please share this video with anyone who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow, hopefully, with a new video. I feel like I'm starting to become Dom Mazzetti with these things. Thank you very much for watching. Keep it heavy. Peace.